welcome to my show, Searching
Thank you,
for
sir.
Integrity. My name really is John Smith, and I'm searching for people with integrity. Why? Because our country suffers from IDD, Integrity Deficit Disorder. We have as our guest today Mr. Alan Nevin. The Next Half Century is his recent book. Is that your book, Alan?
Yes,
All right. You
yes.
got one? You got one you can hand up?
You have cover there.
Say again?
Do you
Yeah, you're
have the
on. Yeah,
cover?
I don't have a copy yet. No.
Ah,
But I will buy your book. I looked at the information you sent me, and it's very impressive. Very.
thank you.
Um, I wanted to ask you, though, a number of things in here. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Well, I started thinking about this, and I started thinking about things around me. Um, I, uh, I had a, let's see, how would this work? Uh, I was a CPA, and I didn't want to do that anymore. Only 10 years, and then I got a real estate agent. I was a broker in Colorado and a broker in Texas, and then I have had going to forfeitures. That's a name. Going to the county once a month and bid on some properties. And I would rehab those bids. And probably in a year, I did about 35 of them. And then I got tired of it. And then, but I still have them. I still have all the pieces. I'm looking. There's the little guys like me, when they come to one of the auctions for forfeiture, they look at themselves and they're coming, or somebody else is coming. Somebody else is pulling the button, pressing the buttons. It's like we don't have little guys or just don't have a chance anymore. Now, how would you foresee that the forfeitures is still going to be part of it, of the future?
The answer is sure, it will be. I just don't see it being a very serious part of the real estate industry.
But
When I look at foreclosure percentages, it's almost negligible.
really, huh? We thought from the look of it and the people that were bidding, they were big time other people with a lot of money, and I figured they'd just continue with that.
Yeah, you have firms like Blackstone, which buy homes by the thousands,
Right.
and are your competition if you're a sole practitioner.
That's a waste of
And
time.
the answer is that they have continual sources of funds.
Right. Yeah. Um, we we've also know that we've got these people that don't really come to work anymore, and empty office buildings. What are we going to do with those? What's going to happen with those?
I think gradually they will refill. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one is there's a continual number of new firms being formed. So they do take space and gradually they'll help refill. In terms of the existing businesses in space, the reality is they probably have too much space to begin with.
Yep.
and um, that'll just have to remain vacant. It could be sometime for years.
Mhm.
And whereas typically we have on a national office vacancy rate of about 15%, now it's up to about 25%. And except for those projects that are over leveraged, the owners will just muddle through. There are a lot of folks who are saying, well, they convert them into apartment. The reality is that that is very difficult to, from the standpoint of the cost of plumbing, the electrical, heating and air conditioning,
Right.
fire and safety. Those that have tried it have found that it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, I don't know how they don't want to do it.
I'm
Nobody wants to
sorry.
come to work anymore. Nobody comes to work anymore.
Oh, no, but most folks are saying, well, come back 3 days a week. And there are a lot of jobs out there where what people need to work on is at the office. Certainly, the entire medical, the
Mhm.
let's say research type of jobs that are in laboratories, and the entire medical profession has to be in an office. So there's a large part that really needs to be in the office. Others will say, all right, come in 3 days a week. One of the things that they don't talk about much is when you have new employees coming to work, they really need to interact with the other people in the firm. That's the way they learn, and it's the way that they grow in their profession. If
Right.
if they're working in an empty office,
Right.
none of that happens. So I think it is the empty offices overstated.
Really. Okay. That's interesting. Um, I noted what to expect. In the what to expect, I wrote down certain states: California, Texas, Georgia. And what interested me was that I spent most of my adult life in Texas. And so, what should I expect on Texas in the next? Now I'm working on what 25 years, 50 years.
I've been working in Texas since the 1970s doing consulting,
Uh huh.
and it is just an amazing state. It just is entrepreneurial
Yeah.
and really sets up very few barriers because its taxes are very reasonable and it is getting a lot of the outflow from California.
Yeah. If the
And whether,
outflow, sorry, if the outflow is from California, then how can they be a high expectation in the future?
well, that's because California's is growing in different ways. What's happening in California now is the move outs typically are lower income and very often retirees. But 60% of the folks moving into California have college degrees. So the state is prospering in fields that require uh, heavy education.
Right.
And that is a continuing thing. So Texas is getting a lot of the manufacturing
Mhm.
and um, is getting retirees,
Mhm.
and it is also drawing from other places in the United States. Most of their growth really relates to growth from elsewhere in the nation where folks are looking for better jobs. And if you're in Iowa or Nebraska, you're mighty tempted to go to Texas.
Right. Right. Now, recently, I guess maybe 1 or 2 years ago, Tesla began uh, building to produce the vehicles there.
Yeah, their pickup truck.
I didn't like that much. Do you think the form of that
Yeah,
is
and
like space something?
well, California used to be a heavy manufacturing state for automobiles, and
Right.
now Tesla is the only one left.
Yeah.
New ones like Rivian are being built in the Midwest. So California just is not set up anymore to be car manufacturer.
Interesting. You don't live there. You just think it's going to be like everybody else will,
Yep.
but they're not.
So, the other thing that's happening, by the way, is that they're starting to manufacture cars, vehicles in Mexico and then bringing them across to the States because of the tax advantages of the new NAFTA.
Right.
And China is going to be one of the first manufacturers to manufacture in Mexico
In Mexico. Interesting.
all electric cars.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I wouldn't buy one. We bought a hybrid, but not a full EV.
And not yet.
Not yet.
I'm not ready yet either.
Well, now, if we're talking about the countries that have the best opportunities, you've outlined those, which would be the U.S., great, uh, greater Europe. I didn't see Russia in there. Did I miss something, or was he gone?
Well,
Russia,
Russia, I devote a whole chapter to its demise.
right?
It is in sad shape. It is losing population, not as much as China is losing, but Russia is losing population and highly educated people working their way towards the border of Finland and Lithuania and Latvia and
Uh huh.
Estonia. And Russia, other than oil, is in very um, poor shape.
Right, right. I know mostly a country has to have at least something to build on. Take Haiti. Haiti, I don't see they can do anything in the future.
There are unfortunately a number of South American countries that are dismal,
Wow.
and they most probably won't be able to participate in the new world.
Right,
Now, a place like Venezuela has a lot of oil, so
right.
they'll have money,
Yeah.
but they don't have um, the kind of folks that they need to move forward with an advanced economy. And then you have the others like Haiti,
Right.
which really don't stand a chance of becoming part of the new world, if you will.
And there's nothing to build on.
No, it's a matter of education. Now, there are a number of third world countries that are working very diligently to become second world countries. And as that happens, those countries will grow and prosper. A lot of the manufacturing that was previously in China
Hmm.
is moving to these third world countries because they're less expensive.
Vietnam.
Vietnam is doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful country. I've been there.
Yeah. I want to go back.
Well,
I w-
I go back there. When you look at the Far East, you have these amazing countries like Japan and Taiwan and South Korea, and they are just uh, expanding in terms of their out manufacturing output. Taiwan, for instance, is the largest manufacturer of bicycles in the
really
world
didn't know that.
in all different price ranges. They have bikes for $10,000 they manufacture there. So it's really, and then Korea, of course, has really upset the automobile world. I mean, they have caused major havoc for our
Hmm.
big three, which are no longer our big three. Because with Kia and a couple other brands, Korea is just doing very well.
Yeah.
And of course, Japan, Toyota has 125 plants around the world.
Oh my. My oh my. You ranked again something that's not a surprise, and that's where Mac is from, India. Are they going to do better in the future?
Right. India is moving forward very, very quickly. They are a second world country, and it's going to take a while for them to become first world. But the reality is that they continue to grow. They have 1.4 billion people.
Wow.
And if you look at the next, let's just say the next 40 years, China is going to lose 300 million people, and India is going to gain a couple hundred million. And those are consumers. And whereas China is in dismal economic shape
Right.
because of that one child policy
Yeah.
that has resulted 30 some years later into a failing society, India continues to grow. And the good news is that India, in just the last few years, have put enormous sums into education. And they are putting out a lot of college graduates that can help them grow in the high tech field. Um, and India will continue to expand economically.
Well, that's what he'd like to hear. Uh, I don't know if that will it come from within or will people begin to live in India?
Well, no, I don't see in migration to India. That doesn't have very few of the countries we've talked about, like China or Japan, they just don't have in migration, among other reasons, because their language and their written language is very difficult.
Mhm.
So, but India, they will prosper, and they are prospering. Admittedly, there are a lot of educated folks in India that wind up living here in the United States because the employment opportunities are so good. In the United States, about a quarter of our population is foreign born. It's sort of interesting, heavily weighted toward the West Coast. For instance, the San Jose metropolitan area, which is where the Apples and the Googles all are, 40% of their population is foreign born. Here in San Diego, it's 25, 26% foreign
Mhm.
born. So a large part of that is from the Far East, including India.
Well, I want to thank you coming on, and we did get it done, didn't we?
Yep.
uh, and I'm pleased that you were taking time to come and share this information. It's just amazing. I could listen to it all day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to buy your book.
Appreciate that, of course.
Yes.
And John, I will tell you that the book is positive. There's a lot of negativism going on, but when you look and you read my book, you will be positive about the future of the world.
Great. Great. I have twins that they can capitalize on that.
You bet.
Yeah. Well, thank you, um, Alan. It's been a pleasure
It's
to
my
listen to you.
pleasure.
And
Thank you, John.
I want to say for my listeners tuning in to Searching for Integrity, um, and you'll remember this: so long and happy trails to all.